Good morning, good evening, and keep it tight. We are up from the 36 chambers. Welcome back to Liquidmatrix Security Digest Hacker Radio Podcast, episode 0x74. That's right, the Wu-Tang Podcast Clan, the original gangsters, right again. Here with me tonight are myself, Dave Lewis, Ben Shapiro, Matt Johansson, and James Arlen on the Wheels of Steel. I should point out that this show does not represent the thoughts, intentions, plans, or strategies for world domination of our employers, girlfriends, wives, belly button lint, or the militant wing of the Girl Guides. I have not got a letter from them yet. It is solely our personal opinions. We make no guarantees to the accuracy, validity, sobriety, relevance, or importance of anything we say or do here. My portion of this podcast is brought to you by an industrial-sized drum of hand sanitizer. And we're back.
How long has it been? How long?
28 months.
No. That's too long.
Nothing's happened, though. Nothing's happened. I mean, it's been really quiet.
Yeah.
So like,
why
what
are we
happened?
doing this?
Dave, you started a Viking tribute band or something?
Oh, yes. Der Hoofensplatten.
Hey.
And Matt, you created Small People.
I created a small person.
Yes.
To be more accurate, yes. And
half you.
That industrial sized thing of hand sanitizer is labeled college fund for her. That's what we're going to be selling to.
I can donate some toilet paper if you'd like.
Yeah. There's a few rolls.
Really?
Few rolls in the garage that are labeled 529 or 401k or something. Yeah. Sorry, I had my hacker hoodie on. I figured since this is video.
I'll get in on this here.
You're all wearing them.
There you go.
I'm not. I'm hoodie free.
Yeah. So we're doing this coronavirus edition. So I saw everyone's getting used to Zoom meetings, so I figured I would do my background here as well.
Oh, it's appropriately themed, of course. So we're not doing a coronavirus edition. We're doing the lockdown version. I think it's probably a better way to say quarantine edition.
Quarantine 2020.
Because we're not selling anything.
No, and it's either this or talking to our families. So
they're already bored with that.
Yeah, a little bit.
The best thing out of coronavirus is the memes for sure.
Oh, actually, yes, I will agree with you there because it's like day 6 on lockdown here in our house, and I think my wife is really enjoying the break with me down here on the computer.
It's
Work from home day 6. There's this person that lives in my house. I think she calls herself my wife.
I've been working from home for like 12 years.
Yeah, me too. This is really not different.
Exactly, yes.
It's Tuesday for me.
I also have a toddler, so social distancing is also just normal.
Yeah, I think there's this notion of circle of trust. What was that movie? Oh, God.
Contagion?
No, we're not doing that movie.
Debbie does, no.
It goes like this with Ben Stiller.
Oh, yeah.
Meet the Parents.
Meet the Parents. The circle of trust. There we go. That's it. Kids and wife are in your circle of trust. If they're infected, you're already screwed. So
That's true.
Yeah, my wife's a school teacher. She spends all of her days in the petri dish anyways. So, yeah, not much is different. I mean, I almost died in 2018. I have 2 sons-in-law. I have 3 grandkids. I stopped working in security since the last time we did one of these.
Wait, you're allowed to leave?
Yes.
I got a really jaunty hat.
Where is it?
It's upstairs.
Doesn't
I didn't bring it
count.
downstairs. I know. I will hang my head in shame.
You worked in security? Like you got paid? You guys are getting paid? They just keep me in the network closet.
Whoa, you get a closet? I had a paper bag in a septic tank, and I was happy for it.
They just throw me a fish stick every once in a while. And
Yes. In the septic tank or in the network closet?
Disturbing.
Yeah, we've already jumped the rails.
Yeah, it's okay, but I think in deference to all the late shows doing their from home edition, we would just like to state that we were there first.
Yeah,
by a long
margin.
Yep. And interestingly, those of you who recently turned to the comedy shows in order to get your high quality journalism, you came to us for high quality journalism, and you got a comedy show. So
completely unintentional.
Yeah.
But we just think we're funny. That's the difference.
Hey, my mom says I'm funny.
She's right. She's a lovely lady.
Wait, what?
How do
What?
you know that? So anyways, this week we're going to actually, refer to it as this week as if it hasn't been 28 months since we did one of these. And we're going to do the usual thing that we do. We've actually prepared news stories. We've got a breach to talk about that's actually recent. There's a SCADA story to talk about, believe it or not. We do have a DERP. Thank you, vendors, for that.
All kinds of those.
And we'll talk some mailbag, and then we'll do some brieflies, and then we'll be done. And it should probably only take us another, I don't know, we've been prepping for the show for 45 minutes, so 2.5, 3 hours, and you'll be out of here. Also, if anybody remembers the password for how to log in to upload podcasts, that would be really useful right now.
I wrote it down somewhere on a sticky.
I know this. Password 2.
Summer 2020?
Trapper.
Oh, 2018 is the last time we recorded. That'd be about right.
Oh, I wrote that in my Trapper Keeper.
Wait, do you have one of those?
Oh, God,
I
who
get
knows?
yelled at for old guy jokes like that at work. So, sure.
I don't know about the rest of you, but this is my 50th year, so damn, this is off to a start.
Oh, boy. Have you started picking out the retirement package yet?
I don't think I'm physically able to retire because I'm that crazy. I don't know what I would do with myself.
Shuffleboard.
There we go.
No.
Go to Miami, become a Florida man.
Yeah, no, I've been to Florida, and no, I've had my fill of America's wang. Thank you very much.
He's already a Florida man. He doesn't live in Florida, but he's already a Florida man.
So you've been Googling that. Okay.
Yeah.
How are the bath salts this evening? Are they on the drier side, or?
They really kind of clear everything out and give you that sense of clarity, like a warm summer breeze.
That was one thing I was wondering, if anyone just took some bath salts and tried talking to the coronavirus,
Okay, I know we're going off on tangents yet again, but
Really?
At what point did a certain person, God love them, sit down and go, hey, it'd be a really good idea. Let's crush this up and shoot it up our nose.
How did we get here? Because I'd like a map for future reference.
Yeah,
Florida.
no.
Florida.
Florida, America's wang.
Florida.
Got it. Okay, right.
Open up a copy of Lord of the Rings. It's the map on the inside.
I think the easiest thing that we could do right now is actually collectively, as a group of 3 Canadians, ask an American to please explain the Senate to us.
So I'm going to have to execute Order 66 here. Sorry.
Oh, hell, Steve.
No, that was my very polite way of segueing us into actually doing something valuable with our time here and talking about your news story, Matt.
I was trying to be the senator here. Okay, yeah, I'm going first. So why I was saying that if you kind of squint at this story, it's InfoSec related, right? Is well, first of all, I guess the story, right? Only those of us on the call actually know what I'm talking about, so I should probably introduce it. We're out of practice. Give me a slight break here. So yeah, it seems that this evening, and that's why it was kind of top of mind, that a few of my beloved lawmakers in the United States, House of Representatives and Senate and such, decided to sell off a collective few $1 million of stock in different industries that might have been impacted by coronavirus a little bit earlier than the rest of the country might have known about how we were going to react to coronavirus. Actually, while publicly downplaying the effects of coronavirus. My hand just disappears for those watching the video here.
Isn't that a criminal act?
Yeah, I think it's called insider trading. And this one, this is why I said it's okay. It's kind of near and dear to some of our hearts because we've had day jobs actually catching this kind of activity before and proving it in court and things like that. But what if the people that make the rules are breaking the rules is always the fun part, right? It seems that anyone's getting away with anything these days down here. Maybe they sold some of this stock to pay off some porn stars. I don't know. But it's just kind of what goes on. But yeah, it's a few more senators have come out actually since I even picked the story. So the gentleman named Richard Burr was not the only one. He was the first one. The other funny part is lawmakers were legally allowed to trade on this information early, as recent as 2012, when the act got voted in place to make this illegal. And there was 2 votes against the act to keep the insider trading. I'm just going to keep calling it that because that's what it is. To keep the insider trading legal for our lawmakers. There was 2 votes against this act, and one of which was Richard Burr. So
Wait,
seems
did
like
this pass this act?
What was that?
Did the law pass, or was it voted against?
Yeah. No. There was only 2 votes against it. So it is absolutely illegal. So hopefully we'll see some justice as we just continue to see across all wealthy and powerful individuals in the world do get their fair share. So
we should set up a site, the Richard Burr Prison Watch, and then just have is he in prison today? We'll say yep or nope. I think
it's kind of like the Is Java Secure website, just a guy doing this.
Or
But
is today Friday the 13th? Yeah.
But I remember, what was it? Good old Equifax, right? A whole bunch of their guys sold off stocks, and got matching bracelets for their troubles. They sold off stocks before it became public that the breach had occurred.
Yep, and hours before that, actually.
Yeah, so I think the particularly nasty part about this for me is to not only be doing it for your own self gain, with the insider knowledge beforehand of getting private briefings about how our government is going to react to the given crisis, but to then at the same time be downplaying it to the public. So, and privately emailing anyone who donated to you over $10,000 about the upcoming
Wait,
actions.
what?
Yeah, that was part of it as well. Emailed his donor list about the actions that the government was about to take and the steps that the government was about to take against the coronavirus.
Yeah,
but then going on cable news and downplaying it, and then all while walking away with about $1.6 million, including hotel chains. He sold off hotel chains as well.
Yep. You know what I love? Time-stamped evidence.
Yeah,
that is the best kind. Because well, I didn't do that, really, because I got that right there.
I remember early in my blue team side of my life being in a meeting talking about time synchronization and going, why the hell are we talking about this? Like how we're going to sync clocks up. And someone looked at me and go, you ever look at a log? Oh yeah. Okay. So I agree with you. And I raise a glass tonight to whoever is on the e-discovery forensics incident response team going after this fine fellow.
I have to tell you a story, total segue about time syncing.
I love it.
Okay. So about 2012, I'm working at this small insurance company, and we're building out the logging system. And one of the techs comes to me with a proposal for replacing the time sources on the network. And it's a couple of grand. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm just flipping through the business case. And he lists the new equipment he needs. And it's like 2 servers, a satellite sync, a feed, it was well designed. Good job. Then I flip to the next page, which describes the equipment he's replacing. And it goes, 1 mainframe, which was like the main time source for the company. It wasn't a big company. And a Casio wristwatch. And I go, what's with the Casio wristwatch, dude? And he goes, well, that belongs to Robert. What do you mean it belongs to Robert? Yeah, well, Robert comes in every Monday morning and checks the time on his wristwatch and then adjusts the mainframe to that. I'm like, Robert's from the Caribbean. He's like, yeah. So you mean to tell me this entire company's been on island time for decades? Anyways, we got the new equipment. That's the end of my story.
Casio threat model. I did not include the Casio in my threat model. I didn't.
Or the guy from the Caribbean.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my coronavirus themed story. Being now in this world, it's kind of sensitive to me, right? I do kind of work in the financy
Kinda.
Yeah,
Finance adjacent.
Yeah. So, well, adjacent to the money, because it's certainly not anywhere near me. So,
I love it when I get at work any anti-money laundering training. I mean, it's important. People should know how to do it apparently. But I'm like, if I ever get close to the money, something has gone horribly wrong with everything.
Yeah. Not only that, I have learned way more about how to launder money from my anti-money laundering training than I ever knew previously. So,
yeah.
If you need to know.
I always enjoyed AML trading. It was fun.
Put a criminal in jail, gain new skills, except
exactly.
finance.
Yeah.
So, oh well. Wait, is it me now?
It's you now.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about like a bang-on security story. It's really a security story. So this is like, actually I think is kind of cool. It was announced, what day is it today? It was announced yesterday. Yay. And so CERT and GitHub have gotten together. And so this is, the CERT. They're doing automated remediation of security code flaws. And I think that's pretty awesome. They're hunting for a particular CVE across the entire code base, all the code bases that are stored on GitHub. And like, this is how you do security at scale. So not much to say about it other than, yay, we need more of this.
There's actually a very cool company that does something along those lines called SNYK. SNYK.io.
Oh, I got an email for them today at work, and I sent them a nasty response about complying with Castle.
Well, that notwithstanding, it's actually a very cool product, and they do provide access to small shops that have, I think, less than 50 users. I may be mistaken now, but at the time it was for small projects you could scan for free. So it's a very handy tool. And no, I don't have anything to do with them.
Or just open source your code and stick it up on GitHub and
then wait. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's cool. But check it out. I mean, it's the way that we need to run secure coding. Like it's not about, read your own lines of code, automation and at scale, and hey, have great regression tests and great unit tests and great pipelines, and off you go.
I mean, there's lots of security that you can get for free if you just open source it and upload it to the right places. I mean, you can have somebody validate all of your IAM credentials for you if you just upload them into an S3 bucket that you set to public.
And that does happen so often.
Involuntarily, let's be clear.
Involuntary ass. I'm sorry. There we go.
set all of your code repos to public, and it'll be fine. Somebody will find your problems and fix them for you.
This is the thing that drives me bonkers. With an S3 bucket, back when Forbes used to let me write for them, an S3 bucket, I wrote about this article where you actually set up an S3 bucket. It says right across the top of the screen, says, do not make this publicly available. It's kind of hard to miss. But yet, here we are.
The problem is there's actually really legitimate use cases for this, right? Like S3 is really, really, really fast.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a really, really good way to host static, non-sensitive files for your public-facing website.
But
but I've got a guy named Rich Mogul I want to introduce you to. Who,
wait. Does he know anything about cloud?
I think he has said something about clouds. Yes.
Does he know a guy that talks with a really deep voice and sounds like a little girl?
I'll never forget his keynote at Sector when he was talking about gorillas. That's burned into my mind and for infamy.
One of the first times I met Jamie, Rich was standing next to him on stage without pants on. So
there's a visual and a linguistic computational mess I don't want to understand.
Oh, no, that's not a visual that you have to deal with. There's a video you have to deal with.
Oh, sweet Lord.
Is there a link?
Oh, wait.
Is there a link, please?
No. Oh, God, I burned that out of my memory. I was actually in the room for that.
Wait, where does this rank on the Hoff lap dance video? Better or worse?
Was Hoff giving or receiving?
He gave one. And it was all for the name of charity, to be clear, and clothing was on, and it was consensual.
I do remember this.
And boy, did he get an earful for that one.
Yeah, I remember seeing him the next morning. What's going on, man? Cisco Marketing saw the lap dance video. I'm like, oh, shit. You want me to take it down? Nah, it's fine.
was like 4 jobs ago, so who cares?
I was
he
gonna say,
doesn't
this
care.
is like more than a decade ago.
But speaking of S3 buckets, I saw this really cool video, and I'll put it in the show notes afterwards when I remember to. It's like from 2019 AWS, where they actually are using mathematical proofs to demonstrate that S3 buckets and other things are actually secure. So they're not auditing by randomly sampling, like let me do a random walk. They're not auditing by reviewing code. It's formal proofs in math to prove that elements are secure, and including making sure that S3 buckets are not public. So I have no clue how it works. It's way beyond me, but it's like really, really cool. Audit the math, not the source code or anything else.
That sounds complicated.
Anyways, it is. At this point, somebody should go on to the next show note.
Well, math is hard.
Speaking of complicated,
So is SSL. I mean, TLS.
There's a complicated thing happening in the United States right now. Bad people are trying to scam good people, all wrapped up in the latest reason why we're all at home and not leaving anytime real soon. A huge amount of fraudulent activity related to COVID-19/coronavirus. So interesting reports. The World Health Organization issued a warning about this. US FTC's issued a warning. Checkpoint did some research and came up with the upswing in registration of domains related to the coronavirus. Lots more malicious tools, lots more gullible people looking for any answer. And my favorite part of this story in The Guardian is the face that they put on the story. Your good friend of mine, Alex Jones, who will sell you toothpaste with colloidal silver in it that will protect you from the coronavirus. And the US FTC has said, stop doing this. And you can imagine the red-faced screaming rant that he would provide as a response to that.
How did the FTC let him know while he was in jail for his DUI that he just got last week? This is one of my favorite Austinites.
Karma. Love it. I didn't know about that.
Didn't know.
I
good
have an
news.
important question.
Yes.
Where do you get colloidal silver from?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Asteroids.
Which?
From the toothpaste that you bought from Alex Jones.
That allegedly is like his primary income source. It's not the advertisers. It's the crazy stuff he sells.
Yes, that is very true.
Boggles the mind.
So, talking about sort of the TTPs, the IOCs, all the magical acronyms that you want to use to describe threat actors, and this whole coronavirus.
The YMCA.
The what? Wait, ready, guys?
No.
Come on.
My arms disappear into the ether.
Yeah, that's really creepy when you melt away, man.
It does make you really wonder what his background looks like, though.
We know, we've seen it.
Bodies.
Okay, the joke was funnier until you made that point, Ben. Thank you.
Someone told me to
We're not
wash
gonna
my
tell
hands.
anybody.
It's just a pile of hands in hand soap. I just
And toilet paper, because that's the
How about
college
you
fund.
talk about hacking something wired, Dave?
Okay, wait, before we go, but let's just hang on. I wanted to make a point before we got into his hands melting. So close. Sorry. But here's the thing, like everybody's up in arms about the bad guys are using phishes and scams and subject lines related to Corona and domains, but this is the same TTPs, the same IOCs, the same everything. It's just contextual. If this were Christmas time, it would be Purolator and FedEx packages from Amazon that got delayed, right? They're good at hooking onto whatever's going on in the world to get people's attention. I think.
Are you saying that people are still gullible now?
Yeah, I know. Colloidal silver toothpaste and my, done.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. But wait, Ben. Now
Yeah.
you must tell the audience how many cans of chickpeas do you have in your house now that you didn't have in your house a week ago?
Hey, chickpeas is a cultural food. Actually, no, we didn't have it a week ago. We had it well before that.
Oh, dear.
You can only call it a chickpea if it's from the chickpea region of France, I hear.
Ah, yes. You got to be the regional thing is huge.
Yes.
Matt, have you ever been to the chickpea region of France?
Otherwise, it's just sparkling hummus.
Yeah.
I can't fall on the floor and laugh my ass off because the cable on my headphones are too short. Otherwise, I would. All right, go do your story, Dave.
All right, I'm clear. So building on the idea people are gullible is the fact that coronavirus and COVID are leading the way of setting up the, what's coming next of the ransomware gangs and all of those sort of morons that are going to be playing on this. Exactly what, Jamie was talking about with all the domains that are being registered and things to that effect. It's just going to be an absolute all-out onslaught. One of the things I absolutely enjoyed today was reading on Twitter that Mikko Hyppinen said flat out, the CTO for, is he CTO or Chief Research Officer? Chief CRO at F-Secure said that if you go after medical facilities in any way, shape, or form, I will come after you myself with the whole full breadth of our organization. Definitely paraphrasing there, but I would happily join in that fight for anybody that goes after a medical facility of any description at this point, because this is patently insane. But we're seeing, like this article that was posted on Wired today, we're seeing that, they are being targeted right now with ransomware, playing on the whole coronavirus aspect of things. And this absolutely makes me sick to my stomach. And I would happily drag them into the town square and do horrible things to them.
But you have to say it like a Norwegian. Damn it, Connery.
Connery? He's a Scot.
Yes, I know. We have to say like a Norwegian Connery.
A Norwegian Connery.
That's what Mikko sounds like.
We love you, Mikko. All right, that's it for me on that article. But I'm just absolutely worried about what is coming next with regards to the pointy-headed little attackers.
Okay, there is no way to segue into this next one, but we're moving on to the breaches section. And those of us that have reached the age that we have and we're starting to contemplate cruises as a thing to do with our time.
Hell no.
Will be aware of the fact that sometimes going on a cruise causes you to have leakage. It turns out that actually pretty much all of the Princess cruises have had a leakage, even though they've shut down because they had two ships that were basically plague ships. They had suspicious activity. It was like a year ago, but they did some investigation stuff, and it's a pretty standard breach, actually. The only thing that's unclear is why they waited until now to tell everybody about it.
So nobody can sue them once they're bankrupt.
or perchance they were hoping nobody would notice.
Right.
Ooh, but hang on a second. What's the average age of a Princess cruisee?
Okay, boomer.
Okay.
Right. Plus that by some. So there is a possibility that some of the data subjects that were exposed.
What's the info
around
section of Montezuma's Revenge? What would we call it? Who would get it?
I think we call that failure to log review.
I was talking more about you go on a cruise, you get leakage. So let's see.
Norwalk virus, anybody?
Legionnaires.
McAfee's Revenge.
That's probably pretty good.
Wait, what happened to the $1 million Bitcoin he promised us?
It's got to go down before. Sometimes you got to go get down before you can get up.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody find him through open source intel or something online?
Based on what my stock price has been doing lately, yeah, we're definitely going down before we go back up again.
Yeah, but didn't he put out this challenge of find me and you'll win $1 million or something?
Oh, that sounds like something
that sounds
stupid he would
familiar.
do.
And then somebody did, but says really wish they hadn't. I don't know. I may be misremembering this, so whatever. But
I remember some thread about
That sounds awful.
some open source image, something or other to figure out where he was, but I don't remember the bet about it.
I'm Googling now because it'll answer all the questions.
Jamie, pull that up.
Finding McAfee, a case study of geoprofiling imaging analysis OSINT. It's on Reddit.
There you go.
I will put it in more show notes.
I actually just said Jamie, pull that up as a Joe Rogan reference, and I forgot that we actually have a Jamie. So I bet you can actually.
Good old JR.
It's okay, Matt. It's okay.
Oh yeah, no, it's not it wasn't $1 billion. It was a free beer to anyone who can guess where we are.
Free beer is a big difference.
Yeah, I'm not
it's
working real hard.
well, it could be a Corona.
So why don't we have a story about the little family company that could?
The little family company, Rogers. But I think this is sort of like thematic of all of the telcos having all of the breaches. And so for our non-Canadian listeners, Rogers is a Canadian telco who helps sell wireless and home phone and high-speed internet and all those things. And some small amount, in quotes, of their customers had their data exposed by some, of course, third-party vendor who had a copy of the data for unclear reasons. But don't worry, it was none of Rogers' customers' data, except it was their addresses and names and birth dates and all those things. But it didn't include their customer ID, so we're fine. So, like, this is one of many that have happened over the last few months, at least. And then inevitably, we're going to cue a story about 2-3 months from now from somebody who says, I had my bank account wiped out because of my reliance on an SMS pin, and my SIM card got ported out because of this. So, the weak link in our armor, relying on the wrong sort of authentication. Maybe Duo should fix that.
Yay! Buy Duo. Duo.com. Okay, there we go.
Wait, which article is from 2015?
The Rogers one.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
I just clicked on it.
You did?
I did.
Oh, but they did have a breach, but it's not like it was just a few days ago.
Oh, okay.
Hang on a second.
I just when it came up, it said March 3rd, 2015. I'm like, dude.
I really can't read.
It's from the last time we did a podcast show notes.
Oh, it is. But no, I linked the wrong thing. They did have another one recently.
And this, audience, is why it's so unbelievably difficult to get show notes together for this gang of people.
I swear we can read.
Assembling this show takes hours.
He's not lying.
For no reason. It took that 40 minutes to arrive
and
open his microphone from the new packaging and plug it in and then switch his computer over to use it eventually.
Jamie, I have a confession.
Yeah.
We take that long because we want to spend quality time with you, man.
No, if you're doing that, then Dave wouldn't set it so that the Zoom meeting wouldn't open until 9 o'clock on the dot. Because some of us were trying to get this shit together at like 8:30.
Oh, that was you that joined.
Here's the right link. I'm putting the right link in now, which is from now-ish.
Okay. Well, speaking of cybers and the associated douchery, and entertainingly referencing organization that won't let Dave write for them anymore. Also, contrary to Dave's story, apparently hackers are promising that there will be no more healthcare cyber attacks during the COVID crisis.
Sure they are.
Well, you know, that's what Davey Winder says. Leading cybercrime gangs promise that they're not going to do any problem, that they're not going to do a thing here. I mean, the apps that let you track COVID-19 on your Android device are all pretty much malware. But apparently they're not going to attack, you know, hospitals and things like that.
Just attack the end users.
If ransomware hits a hospital, I think we should all stop what we're doing and track that person down.
Yes.
With Miko leading the charge.
Potentially introduce them to the nearest volcano in sacrifice for the virus, and maybe it'll go away.
Yeah, I mean, if I still worked in security, I'd be totally on board with that.
You're probably more equipped now that you're not in security to find said person.
But there's this closing paragraph in the article that says, let's not get complacent about this because there are thousands of threat actor groups. So just because 3 said they're going to, I don't know if I'm saying the right thing, but they're going to do the right thing and leave hospitals alone, doesn't mean that the other 2,997 are going to do it.
Yeah, not getting a warm and fuzzy.
Not at all.
You know, let's face some realities here. The typical targets for these are the relatively small organizations, and they are taking an absolute shit kicking right now. Nobody is going to have money for cybersecurity. Most of them aren't even going to have money to survive. This world is about to get kind of super duper ugly, and we need to pay attention to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there was a police department in some small town USA that actually tweeted out, if all criminals could please stop the misbehaving
Salt Lake
and
City.
observe social distancing.
That was Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Full credit to
Not
them.
a small town, sorry.
Yeah, that was full credit to them. That was hilarious.
There was another one that security intern was showing me. The small town said that anybody could bring their meth in to have it tested for COVID-19, and they would do the testing for free.
That's nice of them. Really nice. It wasn't a free test, was it?
Oh no, the test was free. It just has a relatively high charge associated with it after the fact.
Complimentary jewelry.
You laugh, but like in the US, sure, that tricks, let's call it dumb criminals, or people with, crippling substance abuse problems, however you want to frame it.
Mm-hmm.
But in Spain, there's actually a lab out there that will say, it legitimately says, send us the drugs you got from the internet. We will test them for you to tell you whether or not they're going to kill you.
Well, that's nice.
So for free, you can just send it to them free, and they'll write you back and go, no, it's this isn't like, I don't know, acid. Well, actually, no, that would probably be good. This isn't like some acid. Well, I'm going to shut up now. I don't know what drugs are.
I'm really not going to on Ben for my drug information. He just doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Like the kind
See, at this point in my life, I'll be just sending him a bag of coffee.
Yeah, that's about right.
Will this kill me?
My wife gave me
plan
this.
on taking.
So, speaking of blood-sucking vultures,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the DERP of the, I don't even know what size period we want to put on this, but the DERP of the week at the very least has got to be stupid shit vendors are saying about coronavirus or COVID-19. Which
19,
COVID are we on now?
Yeah, 19 now. But it
I don't
starts
even
with
remember COVID 1 through 18. I got to go back
Yeah?
and watch them.
Oh, I think there are some of us that remember COVID 2 really, really well. Anybody else from the GTA want to recall those?
I was in
No,
another country when that
words.
happened.
Sadly, I was here. It's one of the things too is I get pitch emails on articles to write, and I'm reading these pitches, and it's like, oh yeah, our software will stop COVID, and like obviously not exactly that, but that's the crux of what they're trying to push. And I just want to reach to the screen and snap next. This is crazy. And the thing is, we're going to remember these people that did this. We are going to not forget. And if it gets really bad, I will happily start sharing names. Consider this fair warning to vendors out there that are doing this stupid crap. Stop. If you're giving away your services for free to help people out, that's fine. If you're saying, buy this software to help battle coronavirus, then you should really just walk off a short pier now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at so Cisco has said, small businesses that need any Connect, the VPN product licenses, here you go, free. And
WebEx as well.
WebEx and Zoom, same
and
story.
Zoom, yep.
And the list goes on, like online learning platforms, you name it. Everybody said, just here, take it. And even at the enterprise scale, and I don't know what it's like over at your day job, Matt, but even there, the vendors are going, run up your licenses, do whatever you need to do. We'll talk about it when this is all over. Right. Maybe not for you guys, but we've heard that. But then you get literally the same shitty pitch with the words coronavirus something 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 smacked on top. And that's like are you texting? You're texting.
Never. Never.
But yeah, it's just like the lack of, I'll call it, sensitivity about what's going on. Well, he just disappeared into Picard.
Oh, sneaky bugger. There he is. He's back again.
Massive lack of sensitivity. Anyways, I'll stop with that. So
I think it's really important to remind everybody that there's an absolute litany of shitty security salespeople stories that we've amassed over the years. I mean, between us all, how many experience years are we up to now? It's like we got to be sitting right around 100. Just
we're I'd say between the four of us, we're over a century.
Oh yeah.
And
Mostly with Jamie. The rest of us are.
Sadly, I'm older than he is.
But would we call your years experience?
Oh, experience? No, that's Jamie.
My point was, we remember all these vendors. If we rewind, it was like 19 years ago, Mr. Lewis, where we got a actual promise from Symantec that they would produce a unified console for all of their protection products.
Yes.
I believe Symantec still doesn't have
a unified console.
Still waiting. That was on a legit promise. That's not the company that calls at what they think is an appropriate time in the morning to have a sales conversation. 7 a.m. wake-up calls from a vendor were not something I was super happy about. And like these things are additive over the years, and it turns into a combination of, there are certain salespeople that I will never buy product from. So you go ahead and hire them. You're more than welcome to hire whomever you want. I will not buy product from them ever. And there are
I wonder who that is.
There are certain companies that I will never buy product from because
it's about community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see you doing the right thing.
Yeah. There was a vendor who pulled out, was it 2-3 years ago, maybe a little longer, about probably 3-4 years ago now, from sponsoring a B-Sides. Like they made a promise. I won't name them because.
Oh, yeah.
I won't name them, but they made a promise.
It did get resolved.
It did get resolved? Oh, then I should stop harshing them.
No, go for it, because we're not naming them.
No, but yeah, I mean, that was, and then, I'll get contacts from them. And my view is that if you are a company that can't keep your word to the community, then if I buy your product and I need you to do the right thing in a pinch, because everything comes down to trust relationships, then yes, I have more lawyers than God to throw at you, but actually I don't, clearly. But if I have lawyers to throw at you, it's still not the right outcome, because that's never going to resolve things to my satisfaction. So if I can't trust you walking in the door, then who cares, right? Let's not do business.
And the best part of that one was, I remember that particular vendor, their marketing person then proceeded to email our conference to say, oh, this person did this, and this, and it was completely wrong, and da-da-da. And I took great pleasure in responding to that person, because I was the one that publicly schooled them. And then had a chat with this marketing person's vice president. Yeah, that got fixed real fast. But yeah, this is a very small family of people that are all working together. Yes, we have different tribes, but we all, at the end of the day, all work towards the same goal. And we talk.
And we've all also had enough rolls of duct tape and popsicle sticks of different products that we've been able to get to do what we need to do. Like, I don't care if yours is easier or quote unquote better if you're a complete douche nozzle. Like, I'm gonna get it to work. Like, I've done so much more with so much less, right? It's just time, right?
Yep.
It's probably the biggest lesson I've learned in being on the not vendor side of things, is the vendor landscape is just so ridiculously huge. And yeah, there are little quirks and niches that people fill that do things better than others. But like, when push comes to shove, like we can do without, right? Like, we're paying for convenience. So you're not going to get us to pay for convenience if you're being really shady.
Do you know how many vendors in the security landscape there are out there right now?
Actually, I don't.
I've seen the graphic of the logos and like which sector they belong to, mobile and this and endpoint and web app and whatever, and then I've seen it grow over the years, and the icons have to get very, very small now. I don't know the count.
Depending on which VC venture capitalist you talk to, anywhere from 4,500 to 5,300.
Damn.
Security product vendors. So, like, if you're not like a stand-up member of the community, then that's already a strike against you. Yeah, because you're fighting in a crowded space for attention and for money. Like, being nice should not be something that you aren't doing by default.
Like, let's put it this way. I remember Comdex. I remember going to Comdex and seeing all of. Yeah, I know there's a reference.
When I was a boy.
Where's my T-fish? But going around and seeing everybody that now they're all the same people, just different logos on their shirts, and it's just like, we have an institutional memory. We remember these things. So stop doing stupid crap. Please.
Moral of the story, don't use this the same way the bad guys are in phishing emails. You should be able to, not be able to tell the difference between a phishing email and a sales pitch because it has coronavirus in it.
We have to get attrition to fire up the Charlatan project again.
But wait, hang on a second. Then why are my sophisticated phishing filters not? Yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah. Why don't we
On that note,
to the mailbag?
All right, what's in there, Jamie?
Who would like to read the note?
Blow the dust off of the
The first one I see is from 3 years ago. It says, "You dead, bro?"
There's this one from someone called Will. He says, "Help me, I'm lost."
Ooh, it's mean. Funny, but mean.
Oh, crap, guys. I think we lost him.
Poor Will. Sorry, Will. We miss you.
So this one says, what about actually doing this podcast a little more often? Signed, the internet.
Wait, hang on a second. You mean our RSS feed hasn't been updating?
Who have I been talking to every week?
Dude, we've been on this podcast recording for 28 months and they haven't been getting it? Oh, we haven't gone to edit yet.
Oops.
I've just been buying external drives and stacking them up.
The volleyball with the face painted on it was telling me that we were doing a good job.
Wilson!
This is where I'm storing this one.
Wait, is that 3 terabytes of bullshit?
Well, no, it's still sealed.
Okay, so will contain.
It will be.
He's going to put it in the RAID array.
That computer behind Jamie's head is actually what we're using to publish our podcast. So they've just taken a while.
Hey, uploading at 28.8 it's going to take a minute.
That's a fast Mac 2 SE30, man.
No, it's just a SE30. There's no 2 in there.
There's no 2?
It's one piece. If it was 2 pieces, then it would be a Mac 2.
So before we drift off of this one, can I get dark for a second?
No.
Please?
Sure.
Yesterday, JSTOR on Twitter put up that you can now access their content of more than 6,000 ebooks and 150 journals for free.
Oh, no.
Get
bent. A man hanged himself because of that, right?
Yep. So I just wanted to share that piece of complete crap, but yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know the context.
Aaron Schwartz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you add that as your briefly so that it's in the show notes, Dave?
There we go. I'll add that in there then. Perfect.
So for those that don't remember, Aaron Schwartz was camping out on a network switch at a university, and I'm afraid if it was MIT or
MIT.
MIT.
And he was basically downloading masses of articles off of JSTOR, and MIT and JSTOR completely mishandled this, resulted in a charge under the CFAA.
Yep.
And
Fraud and Abuse Act.
Yeah, and that ultimately led to charges and court appearances and a really shitty long dragged out thing that in the end led Aaron Schwartz to take his own life. And that's a tragedy because he was a shining star.
True.
So to bring it back out of the dark, I will do my briefly. I was just reminded that I need one. There is a new report by our friends Jay Jacobs and Wade Baker.
Love those guys.
Yeah, really love those guys, and they put out a really amazing data-driven report looking at cyber risk. So I think it's worth linking in the show notes. So I'll make sure to include that.
Awesome.
Is that cyber report available in cyber format?
PDFs, yes.
I asked the report. It's ASL. It hasn't gotten back to me yet.
Oh, even better.
It's a little creepy. Gonna go now.
My briefly is pulling a little bit from I don't actually have a work life, but I do. A great little article and podcast from almost a year ago now from Heroku called On Making Work Less Remote, how the Heroku team works together. I'm happily working with a team that is actually much greater than 50% remote. I think we're about 70 or 75% remote. my team is all remote from each other. None of us work in the same city. And this article and the podcast has a little bit more about what it's like working remote. Certainly, I've had lots of conversations with coworkers in the greater organization who've never worked remote and are kind of going a little stir crazy. So maybe there's something there that you can pick up.
It's a tough transition for a lot of people because, like, I know you and I have been doing this for years, but it's a tough transition at first. I remember when I first started working remote for a record company back in the 90s, I spent the first 2 weeks watching daytime TV until I couldn't take it anymore, and I've never been able to look at it since.
I often
You got paid for doing that, right?
Yeah, for 2 weeks. And then I snapped and I literally couldn't look at TV again for years.
I often joke with people that I should probably get an NDA signed by my dog because I've explained more complex problems to her. When it's just the two of us, that's kind of what happens. She does have a Twitter account, so I'm afraid she's posted some secrets, but is what it is.
I've taught my 18-month-old daughter all about the shared responsibility model. I've had to kind of explain a PowerPoint presentation to kind of do a dry run. So yes, I am part of the work from home flingrati. So
I just have to riff off of explaining things to children. My son, he's 5
what are you
now.
Explain to me? Oh, sorry.
No, God, no. My son, who's 5, he was sort of asking about everybody working from home and mom not being at work and that sort of thing, and the schools being closed. And so how will people get the monies is his question. So, long conversation with a 5-year-old and trying to explain things in terms that he'll get. And then just for kicks, and I think all parents get to do this, you try to teach them a complex word that they don't understand, but you just get them to repeat it. So in this conversation, I then taught him the word of liquidity issues. So I said, instead of buddy saying we don't have money, we say we have liquidity issues. So he looks up and goes, do we have liquidity issues? No, we're fine, buddy. It's okay. So I'm hoping he brings it up in a random conversation. And I'm hoping your daughter brings up shared responsibility models in a random conversation.
I like it.
So to build on that, my daughter actually, when she was about 3.5, 4 years old, brought up something that she heard at home during a dinner at a friend's house. We're all sitting around both families, and she brought up, what would you like to eat? And she goes, well, I don't really like this, but could I have some wolf nipple chips? I had to quietly excuse myself for the room because I was dying.
Can you unpack that for me, please? What are wolf nipple chips?
Oh my God. You got to go. You are now sentenced to go watch all of Monty Python.
Please.
There's a Nick Swartzen joke that comes to mind here too, that I'm not going to repeat because our explicit tag is only gives us so much allowance. But
this is going way back, when I was really young, we're at some family's house for dinner, and the hostess is sort of going around the table. What would you like? And it's chicken is the main course. And I must have been like 8 or 9, I don't know. And I look at her and I go, do you have white breasts? And the look of my parents' face was fantastic. For clarity, so that I don't offend anybody, I was referring to chicken breasts.
Yeah,
I was young and dumb.
We got that.
Yeah, I know. Listeners, in case you didn't. Anyways.
Well, on to my briefly.
Well, Matt's wearing his hacker hoodie Picard thing again. New episode of Picard tonight. Watch it. So this is a riff on Jamie's piece. Obviously Heroku's been doing remote work for a long time, but I think a lot of organizations are now waking up to, or have about a week ago at least, woke up to, we're doing remote work, and maybe our organizational culture was never ever designed for that. And so HBR, the Harvard Business Review, has got a great article on, and they call it A Guide to Managing Your Newly Remote Team. And so some of the stuff we've done at Day Job is we're encouraging managers just to drop in with people and just chat to them, not about their work, but just like water cooler talk. Just what's going on, man? Did you see that thing last night? What did you do? Like, just keep it going, because it's really easy for people to become unanchored if there's not that sort of social connectivity. And so have a read.
And to build on that, I mean, feel free. I'll volunteer, but feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. At Gattaca is my handle. If you are feeling isolated, feel free to reach out and we'll have a chat. We'll set up a Zoom. I am good with that.
I would love to and I've heard some people are trying to do this, but like have dozens of people on just random Zoom chats and just, like the old BBS days, right? Except with video conferencing.
We're going to do Zoom Liquidmatrix happy hour.
I'm down with that, like Sunday night.
You know what? That sounds good, because if this goes on as long as I'm afraid it may, this is going to be something people are going to need to have that interaction with others.
We could just record a podcast regularly.
I know, but we could also do happy hour. Why can't we do both?
But we still have another 27.
We can't even commit to doing one.
We got another 27 months to go. We have time to build up stories.
I have high hopes, but just on that, I think one of the things that I've said to my team at day job is like, figure out how to do this. This is going to be a marathon, right? Like, you're not doing a short sprint. It's not necessarily, I hope it is, but it's not necessarily going to be 4 or 5 weeks. And if you're setting up your mental model to say, I can make this work for 4 or 5 weeks, I can make it work to have the little ones at home and my partner like with me all the time. And you think in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks, the government's going to say, all clear, everybody go back to work, life is good. And it doesn't happen. I think you're going to be like hit pretty hard with the disappointment. So plan for this for a long term, but hopefully it ends soon.
Well, yeah, I definitely hope that. But it's like watching all of these conferences having to unwind from their commitments because it's unclear as how this timeline is going to go. Like, China was very aggressive with their timeline, and it took them from January to now from the beginning to the end. Well, ostensibly, I don't know that it's going to be quite so quick in North America.
I love those invites I get for conferences. Like, we're going to have a conference in June, Ben, in Toronto. Do you want to come? I don't think so.
I don't think so. As much as I want to say yes.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. No, I doubt it.
Yeah, there are certain things about authoritarian governments that get done very quickly with slave labor that we do not do. I will absolutely not. I want to make it clear I am not advocating for the benefit of such, but there are just things that we're going to get hit pretty hard here, not being able to react as quickly, for sure.
But on the flip side, we can all be socially responsible. And I saw a great tweet the other day, something of, the prior generation was called to war. We're called to do nothing. We got this, right? Like, this is the one time that social responsibility equals doing nothing.
I'm a Gen Xer. I've been training all my life for this.
So
I think one of my favorites was every other weekend, sit at home, watch Netflix. This weekend, being ordered to sit at home and watch Netflix. It is my God-given right to go out and lick whatever I want.
But and getting serious for just like 1 second. Like, sure, we're not in an authoritarian regime where things are being ordered. But on the flip side, we are a civil society. And my hope is that people will go and look at this and go, you know what? The government hasn't told me this necessarily. Yes, I have a right to freedom to move around, to do whatever the hell I please, to lick doorknobs, I guess. But I'm going to do the right thing because that's that is what it means to be part of a civil society. That's my hope for people.
You haven't seen any videos of Florida beaches recently, have you?
Yeah, I have. And somebody said to me, well, we should lock all those people up in a hotel for a while and for 2 weeks and self-quarantine them. And my response was, that will result in a lot of pregnant, sick people.
I was going to say, that's an STD pandemic waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Well, you could actually take them all to Baffin Island. I'm sure that whole procreation thing won't be a problem anymore.
Oh well,
we're getting
to closing thoughts. Actually,
there you go.
Who's Seacrest now again?
He's here. He's here.
Will's not here. Is it Matt now?
It was Matt originally.
It was always Matt. What are you talking about?
It's all yours, buddy.
Who took my job when I was out of there for a while? All right, so there's a new word for there's finally a word for what we do, and it's called onnomi. Is the Japanese term for drinking online, and I think that is apt.
Cheers.
I already got yelled at for how long it took me to unbox my new microphone, so I didn't pour myself a drink, but I will be doing so after.
Thank you, Teeling Whiskey.
You guys are hilarious. We should probably do this again sometime.
I would
should.
really like that.
At least before the next pandemic.
Yeah.
Too soon?
What do you know? Should I be selling my stock?
Yeah.
Sorry, that would be insider trading.
No, we don't have liquidity issues yet. So
Oh,
Well
if you-
played,
if you-
well
If
played.
you are having liquidity issues, though, now is the time to buy gasoline. Have you seen the price on that
And
shit?
toilet paper.
Oh,
I think
It's so
cheaper
cheap
than
now.
the barrel that they put it in, right?
Yeah,
pretty
it's
pretty
kinda
much.
crazy.
Well, I want to say to everyone out there that's listening, please be safe. Please look after your loved ones. And I hope that we will all have this conversation again in at least less than a month. How's that?
Be kind.
Seems reasonable.
Sounds
Take
good.
care of yourselves. Bye, everybody.
Stressed out.
Nanu, nanu.